Joe Colombo was a man who liked to do things differently. He was the only mobster who dared to protest against the FBI.
Nobody goes to war with the United States government.
But Colombo did. His weapon of choice? Mass protest. In the heart of Manhattan, in front of thousands of witnesses, Joe Colombo would face his day of reckoning.
In the shadowy world of organized crime, few names evoke as much intrigue and notoriety as the Colombo Crime Family. This is the story of a criminal empire that emerged from the streets of New York City, its ruthless rise to power, and its eventual decline into obscurity. From their origins as the Profaci crime family to their bloody battles in the infamous Columbo Wars, to the tight grip of Carmine Persico, we will learn about the violent and dangerous underworld that the Colombo family ruled for many years. The origins of the Colombo family. Joseph Profaci, 1897 to 1962. In the dark underbelly of New York City, a notorious criminal organization emerged in the early 1920s. Born from the shadows, this nefarious group was known as the Profaci crime family. Led by the enigmatic Joseph Profaci, they quickly established themselves as a force to be reckoned with in the criminal underworld. After facing countless obstacles in the perilous streets of Chicago, he made a daring move to the gritty borough of Brooklyn in 1925. Profaci soon established himself as a prominent figure in the shadowy realm of olive oil trade. On September 27th, Profaci finally obtained his American citizenship. Drawing upon his roots in the homeland of Sicily, Profaci forged alliances with his fellow compatriots. One such alliance was with the infamous gangster, Ignazio Italiano. As Profaci's business flourished, his dealings with Italiano became increasingly significant. Italiano, a man with a reputation that sent shivers down the spines of even the most hardened criminals, became one of Profaci's most valued customers. The olive oil trade acted as a smokescreen, concealing the true nature of their relationship. On July 1, 1928, Al Capone, mastermind of the infamous Chicago outfit, unleashed his merciless hitmen to carry out a sinister act. Their target, none other than the ill-fated Yale, a prominent figure who dared to defy Capone's insatiable thirst for control. As life drained from Yale's body, a power vacuum emerged, leaving an opportunity for those hungry for dominance to seize the reins. Among them were two cunning individuals, Profaci and his brother-in-law Joseph Magliocco, who ignited a fierce battle for control over the coveted territory of one of the city's most notorious crime bosses. In a sinister twist of fate, Salvatore D'Aquila, the formidable leader of a powerful criminal empire, met his untimely demise. In a bid to avert disaster, a call went out summoning the key players of the Mafia to a meeting that was set at the opulent Statler Hotel. Profaci attended a mob meeting nestled in the heart of Cleveland, Ohio. The site was meticulously selected and strategically positioned as neutral territory beyond the grasp of New York's jurisdiction. Among the members was the cunning Profaci and the elusive Magliocco, and the enigmatic Vincent Mangano, Joseph Bonanno, a representative of the feared Salvatore Maranzano, and the formidable Castellamarese clan. Alongside Ignazio Italiano, Profaci was granted a share of D'Aquila's coveted empire, but this newfound power came at a price. In the wake of the chilling D'Aquila murder, Joe Masseria emerged from the shadows and embarked on a relentless campaign to ascend to the coveted position of Capo di Tutti Capi, the undisputed boss of bosses in the realm of organized crime. Masseria's audacious quest for dominance knew no bounds as he set his sights on the remaining three formidable Mafia factions that held sway over the gritty streets of New York City. First in his crosshairs was the formidable Reina family and the Castellamarese clan. Masseria's demands for tribute echoed through the darkened alleys, leaving the families with a chilling choice: submit or face the dire consequences. As the Reina family and the Castellamarese clan were not enough, Masseria's insatiable appetite for power extended to the formidable Profaci family, their once unassailable position now threatened by the relentless ambitions of this cunning predator. They too found themselves ensnared in a deadly game of cat and mouse. At the center of this tale of betrayal and deceit stood Charles Lucky Luciano, a cunning lieutenant in the ranks of the notorious Mafia crime family. In a calculated move, Luciano decided to shun the coveted title of Capo di Tutti Capi. Instead, he masterminded a clandestine move that would forever alter the landscape of organized crime: the birth of the Mafia Commission. 5 notorious Cosa Nostra families, each operating independently, have established their reign over the city's criminal underworld. The rise. Joseph Colombo's term as boss was relatively brief, as he was murdered in 1971 during an Italian-American rally.
What they found was death. The main speaker was fatally shot. This crowd, infuriated by the shooting of their leader just moments before this scene, raged into complete chaos. Fighting broke out everywhere. This man, totally unrelated to the assassination attempt, was caught up in a violent altercation with the police.
At a time of mafia warfare and escalating criminal underworld tensions, Colombo was born in New York City, where his father was a founding member of the Profaci crime family. Angered by the FBI's harassment of him and his family, he began protesting publicly and helped found the Italian-American Civil Rights League in 1970. On June 28, 1971, Colombo, speaking at an Italian-American rally in Columbus Circle, was shot by a young black man, who was himself immediately slain. The first Colombo War broke out in 1961, sparked by Joe Gallo's kidnapping of 4 high-ranking members of the Profaci family. Gallo was imprisoned later that year, and family leader Joe Profaci died of cancer in 1962. In 1963, Bonanno criminal family chief Joseph Bonanno plotted with Joseph Magliocco to assassinate numerous commission rivals. Magliocco assigned the job to Colombo, one of his best hitmen, who divulged the plot's targets. Magliocco's life was spared, but he was forced to resign, while Bonanno fled to Canada. Colombo was given the Profaci family as a reward for betraying his master. After Colombo's murder, the family was led by Carmine John Persico Jr., also known as Junior, the Snake, and Immortal. He was an American mobster and the longtime boss of the Colombo Crime Family in New York City from 1973 until his death in 2019. Persico reportedly earned his Snake nickname when he tried to assassinate his friend and fellow hitman, Larry Gallo, using a garrote at Brooklyn Bar, only for a cop to wander in and foil the plan. The indictment said Persico and his fellow mobsters ran La Cosa Nostra in a racketeering pattern that included murders, loan sharking, labor payoffs, and extensive extortion in the concrete industry. Persico wasn't charged in the murders, but prosecutors said during the trial that he was involved in the legendary assassinations of 2 other mobsters: Albert Anastasia, the Murder Inc. leader who was killed in a Park Sheraton hotel, Barber's Chair in 1957, and Crazy Joe Gallo, who was shot at Umberto's Clam House in Little Italy in 1972. The infamous Columbo Wars.
Colombo was installed as the boss. Magliocco was the boss for a time. Then he got thrown out because he tried, from what I understand, an assassination attempt against Carlo Gambino and a few others. When they found out about it, they threw Magliocco out, and Joe Colombo, who was the one who made Carlo Gambino aware that there was an assassination attempt that was going to be plotted against him. He was given the title of boss of the Colombo family. Profaci had died, Joe Colombo took over, and then it became the Colombo family. When Gallo came out of prison again, he still didn't accept the fact that Joe Colombo was boss. And, you know, they called him Crazy Joe. He was kind of paranoid schizophrenic. I think he was diagnosed as that. And so there wasn't a real trust between Gallo and Colombo.
The late 1970s saw one of the most violent periods in the history of the Colombo family, with the infamous Colombo Wars erupting between different factions within the family. These wars lasted for several years and resulted in the deaths of several high-ranking members of the family. The first Colombo War started on November 4, 1959, when Profaci's gunmen murdered Abate Marco on a Brooklyn street. Abate Marco had stopped paying tribute to Profaci earlier that year with the support of the Gallo faction. It is speculated that Carlo Gambino and the Lucchese family boss Tommy Lucchese were encouraging the Gallos to challenge Profaci, their enemy. When Profaci took Abate Marco's lucrative rackets away from the Gallos, the warfare began. 1961, Gallo was convicted of conspiracy and extortion for attempting to extort money from a businessman.
Known as a thug or a hoodlum, is that the classification or category you'd come in? Proceed.
I respectfully decline to answer because I honestly believe my answer might tend to incriminate me.
Are you also known as a racketeer and gangster?
I respectfully decline to answer because I honestly believe my answer might tend to incriminate me.
What labor organization or unions are you now associated with?
I respectfully decline to answer because I honestly believe my answer might tend to incriminate me.
All right, proceed, Mr. Kennedy.
And was sentenced to 7 to 14 years in prison. While Gallo was in prison, Profaci died of cancer in 1962. Magliocco took over, and the Gallo crew attempted to kill Carmine Persico in 1963. Columbo Family now. So, where does the Colombo crime family stand today? While it's challenging to pinpoint their current activities, it's clear that they have adapted to the modern landscape. Benjamin Castellazzo, commonly referred to as the Claw, currently holds the position of the underboss. In the year 2000, a group of individuals found themselves entangled in a web of illicit activities.
The FBI, NYPD, and other agencies zeroed in on reputed members and associates of the Colombo crime family. More than a dozen arrests made here, including the man prosecutors say is the Colombo crime boss.
Castellanzo, along with other associates, Michael Nobile, Anthony Amoruso, Frank DeVito, Stephen Mignano, Joey Mercury, and Joseph Wiley. January 20th, 2011, the indictment came crashing down on Castellazzo, casting a dark shadow over his once untouchable empire. The charges were grave, the stakes were high, and the stage was set for a legal battle that would captivate the nation. With the resounding thud of the gavel, the judge declared that Castellazzo would be confined behind cold, unforgiving prison walls for a staggering 63 months. However, Castellazzo was set free from the clutches of federal custody on August 14, 2015. Today, the Colombo family remains one of the 5 families that dominate organized crime in New York City. However, their influence has diminished compared to their heyday. In our next episode, we'll be talking about the Genovese crime family, the oldest and largest mafia family in the United States. It's estimated to have over 20,000 members and associates, and it's active in over 40 states and Canada. Trust me, you won't want to miss that one.